Have you ever felt like your mind is always on? Like, even when you're resting, part of you is still analyzing, connecting dots, replaying conversations, imagining outcomes? Maybe people have told you things like, you think too much. You're overcomplicating it. You're smart, but you make life harder than it needs to be. And maybe, at some point, you started wondering, is something wrong with me? Or worse, am I wasting my intelligence? Here's the misconception most people have about high IQ. They think it's just about being good at math, school, or logic. They imagine confidence, clarity, and success coming naturally. But that's not how it actually works. In reality, many people with high IQ experience more internal friction, not less, more doubt, more emotional complexity, more mental noise. Today, I want to offer you a different lens, not to glorify intelligence, not to pathologize it either, but to understand the psychology of people with high IQ, how their minds work, why certain struggles are so common, and how to use that intelligence without it turning against you. If you've ever felt misunderstood, overstimulated, or internally intense, this video is for you. Reframe. High IQ is not a gift or a curse. It's a nervous system pattern. Let's start with a reframe. High IQ is not just thinking better, it's processing differently. Psychologically speaking, people with higher cognitive ability tend to have faster pattern recognition, higher working memory capacity, greater sensitivity to inconsistencies and nuance, stronger abstract reasoning. That sounds great on paper, but here's the hidden cost. A brain that processes more information also notices more threats, more possibilities, and more uncertainty. Think of it like having a high-resolution camera in a world that never stops moving. You see everything, details others miss, patterns others ignore, implications others don't consider. That doesn't automatically lead to peace. Often, it leads to overload. This is why intelligence and anxiety often correlate. Not because smart people are weak, but because their minds don't easily turn down the volume. Mechanism. Why high IQ often comes with mental overstimulation. Let's break this down in simple terms. 1. Cognitive speed plus depth equals constant simulation. People with high IQ don't just think faster, they think deeper. Your brain runs simulations. If I say this, then that might happen. If that happens, then this changes. But what if I'm missing something? This mental branching is powerful. It's how innovation, strategy, and insight are born. But it also means your mind rarely settles on a single, simple answer. Neuroscience shows that people with higher intelligence often have more active default mode networks, the system involved in internal thought, reflection, and self-referential thinking. Translation? Your brain is really good at going inward, and sometimes it doesn't know when to stop. 2. Emotional intensity is not separate from intelligence. Here's something rarely talked about. High IQ does not mean low emotion. In fact, it often means stronger emotional processing. Many intelligent people feel things deeply because they understand emotional nuance. They anticipate consequences. They empathize cognitively and emotionally. You don't just feel sadness. You analyze why it exists, what it means, where it leads, and how it connects to your identity. That can feel overwhelming. And if you grew up being praised for your intelligence, but not taught emotional regulation, you may have learned to intellectualize feelings instead of processing them. You think about emotions instead of through them. Common psychological patterns in high IQ individuals. Let's talk about patterns you might recognize. Pattern 1. Overthinking as a form of control. Overthinking isn't stupidity. It's often an attempt to feel safe. When your brain is powerful, it learns early that thinking can prevent mistakes, embarrassment, or pain. So it keeps thinking. But eventually, thinking stops being a tool and becomes a cage. Pattern 2. Boredom with routine, obsession with meaning. High IQ individuals often struggle with repetitive environments, not because they're lazy, but because their brain craves complexity and meaning. When the task doesn't stimulate your mind, your brain looks for stimulation internally, daydreaming, questioning life, replaying memories. This is why many intelligent people feel disconnected at work or in school. The environment isn't broken, their brain just needs a different level of engagement. Pattern 3. Feeling out of sync with others. You might feel like conversations stay too shallow, like you're always holding back thoughts, like your humor or insights don't land. This can create loneliness, not because you dislike people, but because your internal world moves at a different pace. Over time, some high IQ individuals shrink themselves socially to fit in. Others isolate. Neither is a true solution. Important caveat: high IQ is not the same as mental health. Let's pause here. Not every struggle is caused by high IQ. Conditions like ADHD, anxiety disorders, depression, or high sensitivity, HSP, can coexist with intelligence, but they're not the same thing. For example, ADHD affects executive function, not intelligence. Anxiety amplifies threat perception. High sensitivity increases sensory and emotional input. If you relate strongly to distress, paralysis, or emotional pain, it's not a failure to seek professional help. Intelligence doesn't make you immune to mental health needs. Practical tools. How to use a high IQ mind without burning out. Let's talk about application, not productivity hacks, not optimize your life, but psychological tools that actually work for this kind of mind. Tool 1. Externalize the mind. Your brain is great at generating ideas, but terrible at holding them all peacefully. Write things down. Not to be productive, but to free mental RAM. Journaling, mind maps, voice notes, anything that moves thoughts out of your head. Think of it as giving your mind a place to rest. Tool 2. Learn when to stop thinking. High IQ requires intentional stopping, not more thinking. Try this. When you notice mental loops, ask, is this problem solvable right now? If the answer is no, shift to the body. Walk, breathe slowly, stretch. You're not avoiding the problem, you're regulating your nervous system so your intelligence works with you. Tool 3. Separate intelligence from identity. This one is big. If your self-worth is tied to being smart, mistakes feel catastrophic. Confusion feels like failure. Rest feels like laziness. But intelligence is a tool, not a definition of your value. You are allowed to be slow. You are allowed to not know. You are allowed to be human. Tool 4. Seek depth, not constant stimulation. Your brain doesn't need more input, it needs better input. Instead of endless scrolling or surface-level content, choose one book, one skill, one question. Depth calms intelligent minds more than novelty. Psychological support. You're not broken, you're untrained. If no one ever taught you how to manage a powerful mind, that's not your fault. Most educational systems reward intelligence but ignore emotional regulation, identity formation, meaning-making. So many intelligent people grow up feeling, I should be doing more, I should be further ahead, I'm wasting potential. That inner pressure is not motivation, It's fear wearing a smart mask. You don't need to become someone else. You need to learn how to work with who you already are. Closing. Redefining what it means to be intelligent. Let's summarize. High IQ often comes with deep thinking, emotional intensity, overstimulation, a search for meaning. These are not flaws, they are signals. Signals that your mind is capable of depth but needs structure, compassion, and direction. True intelligence isn't thinking more, it's knowing when to think, when to feel, and when to rest. If this video resonated, remember this. You are not too much. Your mind is not the enemy. You're just learning how to live inside it.